I'm Amanda Martinez. I'm a singer-songwriter, and the album that I'm just launching is called Recuerdo. It's my 5th album. I actually can't believe I've been doing this long. I've been with my band for now over 2 decades, so it's pretty special. People often ask me, how do you keep a band together that long? But I think it's because we are like a family, and whenever we go on stage and the lights go down, I feel like it's the one place where I feel the most relaxed, and it's where, this sounds kind of cheesy, but it's very magical. I feel like the connection that we have with one another and also with each audience. My dad was the person who I feel like introduced me to his love of music. It's funny, I think that my life was influenced by music even before I was born, because he came from Mexico to Canada by bicycle with my Tío Arturo, his brother, and when they arrived in Toronto, it was actually a musician, Rafael Núñez, who was a Mexican singer-songwriter guitarist, that took them in and actually gave them their first little start and made them feel welcome here in Toronto. It's funny because he did not approve of my choice, and I had actually, that's why I didn't start off in music, even though it's been part of my life. My first love was dance, but I really tried to follow what he thought would be giving me a good, secure, good life, as he said. So I did my undergraduate in biology, and then I did my master's in international business. So that was my fantasy, that I was going to become a ballerina. And I still to this day just admire ballet dancers in general so much. For this album, that was the seed of the album. I wanted to create music that dancers could dance to.
Olvida todas las reglas, los deberes y los sesgos. Paso a paso tu camino va aclarando mi libertad.
So this album, as in previous albums, I love collaborating, and I was lucky to work with a dear friend of mine, Aviva Chernik, and she and I wrote a song that was in tribute to our fathers. At the time that we wrote the song together, her dad was dying and my dad was dying, and we both had very close relationships with our dads. She really helped me put into words that love that I had for him.
No te vayas, quédate aquí.
Donnay Roberts is another friend of mine who I've worked with before. We ended up collaborating on a song that brings me so much joy. I wasn't really in that kind of positive headspace when I wrote the album, but I wanted a song that would bring me that sense of optimism and uplift me. And now that I listen to it, it actually does that. So. Kevin Laliberté and I have been working together for almost 23 years. And we started off just playing as a duo, and then all the other band members joined us. But he's just got such a keen sense of music and what I'm feeling. I kind of feel like he reads my mind. The other musicians that have been part of my group since my first album, Sola, are Alexander Brown, who plays trumpet, and Osvaldo Rodriguez on violin, and also my husband, Drew Birston, who plays bass. And on this album, accordion, his father's accordion, which is a highlight for me. And of course, Chendi, Rosendo Chendi Leon, he plays a multitude of percussion instruments, and then of course, he has a beautiful voice that he often is harmonizing with me on various songs. Even though my dad had such a hard time with the journey that I chose to leave the corporate world and pursue music, I think in his heart of hearts, he really was an artist. And I'll never forget, someone said, "If you didn't become an engineer, what would you have done, Gustavo?" And he's like, with this glass of wine, "I think I would have been a musician." And I was like, what? After all that? So I know I get my love for music from him, and it brings me so much joy because I used to worry, like, how am I going to perform when he's gone one day? You know, because to me, music and my dad are so synonymous, but I really feel like his presence is at all of my concerts, and I always talk about him, and I think that's such a gift to know that when people leave, they're not really leaving. You know, they're just in another form with you.